My name is Gerald Jordan, and I just wanted to let you guys know the first-time homebuyers, the process can be very emotional, very long, especially this part, submitting an offer and closing the settlement process. That's when we get into treacherous territory. So, next slide. So how many of you guys are on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter?
Yeah.
Pretty much everybody? Okay. So I came across this meme that showed first-time home buyers skipping very necessary steps to get to the point where we're going to talk about now. Figuring out your finances, saving money. All of these things are very, very vital before we get to the point in which I'm going to talk about now. So next slide. So congrats, you're ready to shop now. What? First you have to find your dream home. And then you submit your offer. And then you get your contract ratified. So, my guy right here, what's your name?
Richard.
Richard. Gerald. I'm gonna be your agent for today, okay?
Okay.
So next slide. I'm sorry, no, don't get to the next slide yet. So how many bedrooms and bathrooms do you want in your home?
3
3?
bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms.
Alright, cool. So let's go look at some houses. You say you like this house, you saw it online. We get to the place, it doesn't look as good as it did online. You like this house?
No.
Nah? Anybody like this house?
No.
Crazy thing is, I just put an offer on this house, and it got accepted, so we're going to closing.
Depending on,
What's in the inside?
no, not so much as the inside, but I'm a land person.
Yeah,
Depending on how much acres.
they have a lot of land. I think it was on a little over half an acre.
Wow.
That's-
Yeah, see, you can. And then if
Okay,
it don't
that's
have a
not-
home
yeah,
owner.
I wouldn't like it because that's not what I would look
Yeah, gotcha. Okay. So, Richard, we going to the next house, all right?
They got rules. Wow.
There's one.
That's too fancy for me.
Too fancy?
Taxes is
Too much for me.
Taxes too much?
Yep.
But I think
That's me.
it's $300. All right, cool. But I was just in Florida. I just got back from Florida yesterday. I saw these houses. It was like 5 of them. It's crazy.
How
for
much
a lot
was
of
that?
I don't know.
Oh,
I'm not sure.
I would love to know that
Yeah.
price.
But all right, Richard. Let's say you do like this house, all right? All right, we're gonna put an offer. So when I say, all right, let's put in the offer. I want to send you all the offer documents. They like, oh wow. So what do I need? So what you need to put in the offer is 4 things. You need your earnest money deposit, your buyer closing assistance. Then we have the contingencies, and then we have your home warranty. So what your earnest money deposit is? So say, Richard, you were pre-approved for $300,000, right?
It's 1%.
Exactly, and the home that we like is $300,000. 1% of that $300,000, you need a $3,000 check.
Yep.
And that doesn't get cashed until your contract gets ratified, which means accepted. Next, you need your buyer closing assistance. In order to transfer the property legally from one party to another, there's some fees associated with it, and it's usually 5 to 6% of the overall price. So we usually ask the seller to pay 3%. That's on average. We usually ask the seller to pay 3%, so you're looking to pay around 2 to 3%. Next, you have your contingencies. Your contingencies are conditions put in place in order to pretty much protect yourself until the contract becomes ratified. So we have contingency. I'll talk about that next slide, but we have contingency based on a lot of things. And during the negotiation process, all of these things are things that we will negotiate. Like, you might want to put in a higher earnest money. You might want to ask for less seller help, like 2%, 1% instead of the 3%. And then you might want to reduce your contingencies. And lastly, we have the home warranty. Like I said, this is also something that we can negotiate in our terms to give you a better offer. Your home warranty pretty much protects you, your utilities. Like Marquita said, your home won't break down. This protects you for your first year, and if you choose to extend it, it extends. So what are contingencies? So your contingencies are pretty much, like I said, conditions that must be met before the property gets transferred from one party to another. We usually put the contingencies based on 3 things: the mortgage loan, property inspection, and the appraisal. So the mortgage loan, this pretty much shows all of the interest rates and everything that you need in order to close on a home. It shows your interest rate, it shows how much you will be paying, etc. So that you know up front. Property inspections. How many, by show of hands, how many of you guys think you can pass an inspection? Pass or fail an inspection? You fail an inspection? Okay. Yeah, well, nobody is right or wrong. You can't pass or fail a home inspection. But some houses have more deficiencies than others. And I advise you to get a property inspection for everything. Even new construction has problems that can't be foreseen. So you want to get a property inspection for even new construction to a home built in 1978. And depending on what needs to be fixed, we get a property inspection report by a property inspector. This shows what needs to be fixed within the home. So what we do as realtors, we go in and write down every single thing, all the major things that need to be fixed. We can't address every single thing. All the major things that need to be addressed, we address those. And we have a contingency put in place where you can pull out if the seller doesn't abide by those obligations. Next is the appraisal. Question?
If you get a property inspected and it's something that you think you no longer want to buy a house, let's say the roof is bad, and that's not, what, can you pull out at that point?
It depends. If we put it in there and the seller doesn't fix the roof, then yes, we can pull out.
Okay.
However, if they do fix the roof, we can't. Property inspector, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So he'll be talking about that in depth next presentation.
But if it's a as-is property, they don't have to fix it or something?
Nope. If it's an as is, we can get inspection as is. However, they don't have to fix that.
Oh.
So we can have as is with inspection. That's just for your knowledge of everything that's going on.
Okay, right.
Any more questions?
You say if it's as is and something's wrong with the roof, you still have to go along with it?
Yes.
You
If it's
have
as
like-
is, you'll know up front if it's
Right.
as is or not.
So with
It
the,
says that
That's
advertising.
so
Right,
with
this
the,
is in the list.
with the home inspection items is basically, you're getting the facts of the house.
Mhm.
And at that point, you have the report, you go back to your agent, you negotiate with the seller.
Exactly.
It's
So
the car
a
fact.
negotiation.
It's like a car fact.
Exactly.
Car
Yeah,
fact.
You won't buy
yeah,
a car,
yeah.
they're gonna tell you what's wrong with it.
Right.
You decide
Exactly. You're
you want
gonna know all this up front if it's as is.
Right.
And once you go to the property, you can kind of eye a few things, but the property inspection goes into depth with the things that you can't eye,
Okay.
such as like you can eye termites, but sometimes the property inspector goes like in depth to see if there are termites. That's the termite inspection actually. But the home inspection is, for example, is the same thing pretty much. We have home inspectors that do home inspection and termites, so they do all of that at once. And lastly is your appraisal. The appraisal is done by a licensed appraiser. What this does is look at the market value of the home. It looks at what is sold, what expired, and what is active on the market, so you can get a fair market value of that home. And the contingency that we put in place is that if the appraisal comes in lower than the price that you offered, the seller has to reduce the price to what you offered. To the market value. So, for example, we put an offer on that $300,000 property. Appraisal come in at $290. They gotta bring it down, or we can pull out. Next slide. Any questions on contingencies?
Yeah, what happens if the appraisal goes over?
Oh, nah, you're good. We don't have to tell them unless the appraiser goes down. The buyers are the only people that get the appraisal.
Okay,
We don't have to tell them if it's over.
okay.
If it's over, that's good for you because you go with
The
equity.
value was already over.
Yep. And it is a seller's market. Crazy. There's so many buyers on the market. Like, I've had a client that I've been working with. It wasn't long. We put in probably 2 offers. Got rejected. And then, well, it didn't get rejected. We were in competitive situations and he didn't come out on top. But we're on the offer. We closed in 2 days, actually. So I've had a time with him. Like I said, it's a very emotional process for everybody. Some people get nervous during the process, but it's a lot of buyers in the market. So it's some things that you gotta take the good with the bad.
But I think it's, if you in the bracket of, I'm just asking.
Yes.
You can ask, if you qualify from 250 to, I say, 400 tops,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be hard.
Oh,
it's like,
I'm telling you, the 250 to 300 price range.
yeah, I'm just letting people
It's
know
crazy.
now.
That's exactly what it
But
was. It was
if
at
you like
250.
500, if you approve for 500 or above,
Yeah.
you can take your time.
Exactly. And you see
Take your
homes
time.
that are like 500 and above still on the market
Right.
no longer because those are serious buyers.
Right.
And not a lot of people get approved for that much.
Mhm. So
So,
that's what it is. It's like
exactly.
you gotta move quick. If you in 250 to 300, you gotta move fast
Mhm.
on ours.
Mhm. And who asked about the negotiation process? Was that you? Yeah, so pretty much what I do, if every 30 days, I take it down like $2,000. So if a home is $300,000, it's been on the market for 30 days. All right, we can offer $298, you feel me? 60 days, we can offer probably $295 at this point. 90 days, we can go $290. Because nobody wants their home sitting on the market that long.
Right.
And the homes can expire as well. So they don't want the home to expire either. So we have a lot of leeway as long as the price, as long as the home continues to stay on the market, there's a lot of room for negotiation.
So what would your price range go to? Let's say this house is 250, but it's been on the market for 106 days.
106 days, we can play with like you said one.
And it still has the original owners in it. They're still living in it, but
Okay.
they're not moving until they get it sold.
Somebody comes. Well, that's a different case. If the owner is still living in it, it depends if the home is paid off. If it isn't, if the home is paid off, they don't really have any need to sell because they're not paying anything monthly. But if they're building a new construction, like I have a client that's building a new construction, the buyer's financing actually fell through. So we had to put it back on the market and we got an offer. But in that case, some buyers like need to sell, like my client needs to sell. So if that's the case, you can negotiate a very low price, especially if it's 100 days on the market. Next slide. So your offer is accepted. Now what? Your clock ticks on the contingencies. You usually have 10 days to get the home inspection. Usually ranges between $300 to $575, depending on the size of the house. You have to get your homeowner's insurance, which depends on the property. Get your title company. The title company is involved with pretty much closing the whole entire process. So the title company, your realtor should have a relationship with the title company. Home inspector, they should have a relationship with everybody that's involved with the process. So we will give you options so that if something goes wrong, you know, y'all don't blame us. Y'all like, you told us to choose that title company. I mean, we don't want that on us. So we give you a good amount of options, like 3 or 4, that you can choose from, and everybody's good.
Your real estate agent always knows whether it's a motivated seller or not.
If it's a motivated seller, the real estate agent knows.
Sometimes it's listed.
Good ones.
Good ones. Yeah, you should. And last, your earnest money needs to get cashed. Your earnest money check gets cashed as soon as you put your contract is ratified, and that goes towards your down payment as well. And with first-time home buyers, you guys have a lot of down payment options, like so many that's on the market. You guys are definitely good as far as getting homes. And a first-time home buyer is actually not somebody that's literally buying a home for the first time. First-time home buyer can be somebody moving in-state that never bought a house in the state. A first-time home buyer can be somebody that hasn't lived in a home as their primary residence for 3 years. So the term first-time home buyer is very wide open. Any questions as far as that? Go. All right, wrapping up. Your contingencies are met. Now what? It's time to settle. The title company is responsible for the transfer of the deed from one party to another. The settlement officer is the head of pretty much that whole process. That will give you all the documents, explain them, so you make sure that you guys know what you're getting yourself into. Lastly, it's a lot of documents to sign. You gotta bring your ID. I know we give you guys water, we give you guys snacks, etc. It doesn't take long, probably like hour and a half, depending on the property and what contingencies you had, etc. Then you get your keys and everything's settled. Then you get to move into your new house. Any questions? Yes.
Yeah, when you sign a contract, how long does it usually take to get to settlement?
30 days usually. Yeah, it takes 30 days. Any more questions? All right, that's pretty much my presentation. Thank you guys so much. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
question.